Once again this year I've been a judge for the Fireside Jam 2024. For this iteration we picked the theme Expand. 290 joined and 69 games were submitted.
Nice.
The judges for the jams were, of course, HelperWesley, creator of the Fireside Jam community, Cool G Develop Dude, and dev of Spanshell, a roguelike top-down shooter, Goblin Knuckles, a great artist and game dev that I teamed up with to make a Leafy Launch Rush for last year's Indirect Control Jam, and myself, who's working on a city builder in the desert where you survive sandstorms. I'll be showing a couple of cool games I enjoyed, followed by my personal top 3. The Goatfire of London by High Stakes Studio had an interesting art style with a limited color palette with newspapers as menus, like it was describing an historical event. The player walks around recruiting goats to either sacrifice them to the fire or send them after police officers who are trying to put a stop to your totally harmless endeavors. Happy King Bee by BDJ7217 is a well-crafted management game with a proper tutorial and great UX. You pick between different cards to place your buildings to gather resources with adjacency requirements, forcing you to think and optimize what buildings should go next to each other and expand your little island to place more. Expand a Balloon by Funky Yosh took the theme to its simplest form to make a puzzle game where you simply inflate a balloon at the right place and the right time to reach a dotted line. The game has a good progression of new mechanics and difficulty curve. Regained by Suni had a very original application of the theme. The main character first cleans up the mess in their room to slowly expand their living area, regaining the mental energy to clean up more and expand their world. The Firefly Lighthouse by Iggy Minius makes you collect fireflies to progressively push away the fog and expand the playable area. The art style gives me N64 vibes, and the gameplay is simple enough to get me engaged without overstaying its welcome. The game also has interesting camera angles and transitions. Tiletown by Shin 2500 is a well-designed management game where you place buildings to gather money with interesting adjacency bonuses and maluses. It was fun and engaging enough that once I failed after my first playthrough, I had to give it another try to beat the game. A Quiet Garden by Gear Flower Games is a gorgeous game with a very interesting art style, where you mostly chill in a nice garden. Epidemic Overdrive by Adam is a very polished speedrun game where you spread a virus in a first-person view. You either dash at scientists to infect them or casually throw body parts at them. The old-school 3D aesthetic is great, and it's all well wrapped up with a tutorial, medals, high scores, and a cool level select menu. The Moldering Form by Swordbean is a point-and-click adventure with a dark and weird ambience. You slowly explore your small moldering apartment on your way to the basement. It's a great narrative game with a cool effect on the dialogue text that hints at the state of mind of the main character. I just wish I didn't struggle as much to read it. Your eyes are screwed shut to block out the light, but Q feels like it's... Jesus! Okay, let's skip that one. Nub City by Certified Bozo is a cool game where you recruit nubs, train them into various combat classes, and send them into battle. There's a lot of unit variety, and the game is well polished. Galactic Equilibrium by DJM surprised me with its simple mechanic yet very interesting gameplay. Different planets spawn in the level with resource needed and provided, and you simply need to connect them together. It's a very relaxing and pleasant game to play. Inflafrog by Nice Cream is a cute, well-polished pixel art game where you play a frog that can get bigger or smaller. You move around, charging a jump and traveling in straight lines, avoiding enemies and various obstacles. I'm not sure I understood what was the point of choosing your size, but I still had fun with it. Bigger! 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 Ah! Ah! Now for my personal top 3. For third place I chose...
Pretty happy with how the game turned out. No need to update or expand the game in any way.
Work into Progress by Out of Copper. This game had a very original use of the theme. You start playing a pretty bland 2D platformer with the dev narrating the game.
Feel free to poke around, there's more to life than just coins. Oh no, I forgot to place a wall. I'll patch the game real quick.
And they end up going meta, explaining that the game expands its features and fixes bugs while you play. The build number slowly goes up as the narrator explains what is added to the game. You get new sound effects, new power-ups, music is added, and the game slowly evolves into a more complete game. And for second place I went for The Expanse by Flubberbio. Had very good pacing and consistent game mechanics. You travel from planet to planet, similar to Faster Than Light, with each planet type having a dedicated role, giving a strategic aspect to the choice. Do I need fuel? Do I take the risk to get an upgrade instead? Between each planets, you get a short travel sequence where you avoid asteroids, enemies, and pick up cargo. The further you get, the more enemies and the more risk you need to take, to finally reach a cool boss fight in the end. And finally, my favorite game of the jam, Hole in the Wall by AD Hermit and Gen 10. This game was very well put together. You play as a rat chef who wants to expand a restaurant. It appears simple at first, with little cooking minigames, but it actually has a great tutorial on boarding and difficulty curve. What starts as a simple game evolves into a memory and optimization game, where you try to remember the patron orders and the best way to utilize the different cooking stations. The art is great, the story is cute with a nice dialogue system on top of little comic book style cutscenes. A well-polished and well-designed game. Those were my favorite games of the jam, but there were obviously a lot of other cool games that didn't make it into the video. Go try them out! Thanks to everybody who's been part of the Fireside Jam 2024. See you next year!